Welcome to Simple SQL. Today we're going to be going over variables and some basic data types. If you don't already have it open, open Management Studio, get connected to your local instance of SQL Server, and open a new query window. The very first thing we need to do is understand what variables are. Variables are names that we give to values that can change over time. You can think of it like algebra. So in algebra, you might have to say, 1 minus x equals 15. And then you would solve for x and figure out that it's equal to negative 14 or whatever you're going to do. This x is our variable. Okay, so it is a name that we give to a value, except instead of it being an unknown value, it's a value that we are going to assign and work with. In SQL Server, the way we create a new value is with the declare statement. And then we have to give our value a name. So instead of something like x, you would pick something that was meaningful to you. In SQL Server, most of our variables need to start with the @ symbol. So we'll say my first var. And that's my first variable. Not a great name if I was doing some real coding, but good for what we're doing now. And then we give it a data type. We're going to be looking at 4 data types right now. The first one we want to look at is the data type int. So int stands for integer, and it's a whole number. So the next command we need to learn here is set. And what set does is it lets us assign a value to a variable. So we'll type set, and then you'll see it popped up here, and it's suggesting my first var to me, and that's called Intellisense. So inside Management Studio, whenever it thinks it knows what you want to do, it will pop up a list of suggestions, and you can hit tab to pick that suggestion. So set my first var is equal to 4. Great, we need one more command so that we can see what's happening here, and that command is going to be select. So we're going to say select my first var. Okay, so we are declaring a variable, we're giving it a data type, we're setting a value to it, and now we're asking for it back. And when we hit execute, these things are going to happen in order. So it starts from the top and works its way down. Remember, you can hit F5 instead of execute if you want to. I'm going to pull this window up a little bit here, and we can see the value that we got back is 4. Great, now we know that integer is a whole number. What happens if we set this number to 4.25 instead? When we run this, we still get back 4. Why did that happen? Because it's an integer, it doesn't know what to do with the things after the decimal place, so it just drops them off. And to show you that it's not rounding them, we can set it to 4.95 instead, and you'll see we still get back 4. Great, so why do we need integers? Integers are great for counting things, or for keeping tracks of values where we don't care to have fractions of them, right? So number of cars that you own, you typically wouldn't own 4.95 cars, at least not in a meaningful way. So we're going to put that back to 4 there. Okay, the next data type that we want to look at is called numeric. So we're going to declare my numeric as numeric. You do have to be able to spell it. So unlike integer, numeric has a couple of parameters that go with it. And whenever there's parameters on a data type, they appear in parentheses behind it. So for the numeric data type, there are 2 parameters. The first one is precision. The second one is scale. Precision is the number of digits that can be in the number, and scale is the number of those that happen after the decimal place. So if I say I've got a numeric 10-4, what that means is that there can be up to 10 digits in the number, and 4 of them will always be after the decimal place. So now I'll say set my numeric, and you can press the up and down arrows to pick between the Intellisense options. Set my numeric is equal to 1234 dot 123. There we go. Now we'll select my numeric. And I'm going to highlight a portion of the code and hit execute or press F5, and only the highlighted portion will be run, okay? And it's still going to happen top down, just like it did if things weren't highlighted. When I do this, I get 1234.2300. So you can see the scale dictated that there would be 4 numbers after the digit, and even though we didn't type them, those trailing zeros still appeared there. Now, if you put too many digits in, you're going to get an arithmetic overflow, which means it can't convert the number, right? So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9, 0, and that's already more than 10 digits because it's 10 digits both before and after the period, right? So if we run that again, and we'll see arithmetic overflow, error converting numeric to data type numeric. So the problem is that this number is too long. It does not fit within the 10 digits that are allotted, right? So there's our numeric data type, good for counting portions of a thing, percentages, things like that. The next data type we want to look at is called datetime2. Declare my date as datetime2. There's no parameters on datetime2, so what you can do is assign a value by typing out a date as what we're going to call a string value or a text value. Okay, so we'll set my date is equal to, and in order to put in a string or text value, you surround it by single quotes, and you'll see that it turns red inside Management Studio. We can type this in a number of different ways. I'm going to type it in by year, dash, month, dash, day, and then put a space, and then hours, and hours is in 24-hour time, right? So we'll say 17:25 for minutes, and then seconds, another colon, and then seconds. We'll say 30, and then a period, and then portions of a second. So I'll go 0, 5, 1, 2. Great. And we'll select that back out. Oops, we'll leave our single quote where it's supposed to be, and then select it back out. All right. We'll highlight just this portion. We'll click Executor F5, and we'll see that we get that value back out. Now, it does understand a few different date formats. So if we wanted to, I live in America, and the way we normally write dates here is the month, day, year, and it does also understand that. So if you prefer writing it that way, it does understand it, but it is going to reformat it by default into year, month, day, hour, minute, second, portions of a second, right? So this is great for keeping track of when things happened. Maybe when you update records or when a sale occurred or whatever it is that you want to track. This is an excellent data type for keeping track of that. The last data type that I want to look at with you right now is varchar. So we'll say declare my varchar. Okay, and what that stands for is variable length character. So a character is really anything that you type, any letters or numbers or symbols. All of those are considered to be characters. And a varchar says you can have a variable number of them, and it takes a parameter of the maximum that you can have. So if I say varchar 50 with the 50 in parentheses after it, it means I can have as many characters as I want, up to 50 inside this variable. So now if I go set my varchar is equal to hello friends, and then we're going to select that out. Oops. You can see I typed a double quote instead of a single quote there. We'll fix that and then select it out. Select my varchar, and let's see what happens here. Right, and we get hello friends. So we know that if we try to put too many numbers in a numeric, it doesn't work. What happens if we put too many characters into a varchar? So we'll go 0. There we go. So that's 10 characters. So we'll go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And we'll type some exclamation points here and then a few more characters. And let's try this again. Okay, and we can see that what happened is it gave us the first 50 characters and then silently got rid of everything after that. So if you tried to put too many characters into a varchar variable, it's going to discard everything after the maximum quantity. Now there might be different behaviors to this later, and we'll get into that more, but just understand what happens when you're putting it into a variable with the set operator. this is going to be all that we're going to look at for today. In the next episode, we're going to get into how to create a table, but we needed these data types in order to be able to do it. So thanks for joining me, and I will talk to you later.